Love it. Well, we're recording on the hottest day in the history of LA?
Dude, what the fuck is this, man? I literally had to shut my window. I have the AC, thank God.
Yeah. I used to live in WeHo with like a one room got AC with the unit and like the rest no.
Yeah.
And whoever lives in that apartment now is dying.
Well, see, that's why you gotta have only one room, a studio apartment with no kitchen, and then it's just cold.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
perks.
Right.
No, but I'm gonna level up soon. I'm out of here, baby. But yeah, I hope so.
Because word
One
on
of
the street is you got like one of the best deals in LA.
I do, dude. I do. That's why I've been here so long. I know I
Right.
complain about not having a kitchen,
Yeah.
but I have the cheapest rent. So that's a plus. That's a big fucking. I have pandemic proof rent, man. If you can't afford to live here,
Yeah.
you deserve the streets. No, I'm just kidding. But that's
It's part of like coming to LA is making sure your like overhead isn't too high.
Yeah.
Because I was the same thing. I was in West Hollywood in a kind of dumpier apartment, but it was rent controlled. So like I could just stack the money. I didn't have to worry about the rent.
Dude, comics sometimes, most of them get it and they'll live in a shitty place and have low expenses. But some of them will have like a fancy job in a nice apartment. I'm like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
And then they're exhausted because they work a big job,
Right. Yeah, we talked about it recently. Seinfeld had this quote. He's like, I purposely took shitty jobs so that I knew that I wanted to make it in comedy.
Yeah.
He like sold hats on the street or like, waiter, whatever.
Yeah, dude. I did Trader Joe's and it's a good shitty job.
Yeah.
It's a good fucking job. I know I got fired and all that shit.
Yeah.
But I tell everybody, dude, they max you out at $24 an hour and you get health care to stock bananas. Like that's crazy.
24.
But I hated it. But I was asked to be a manager to where like you make good money and you could buy a house and you could level up and I was just like, no. And then I'll never have energy because you work 40, 50, 60 hours a week. You get gang overtime and you make bank, but it's like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, you get stuck. Then you'll have a mortgage. Then you'll have a car payment. And then you can't get out.
And then you're stuck. And I was like, fuck that. I'm going to stay.
Yeah.
To being a jackass. And then it was perfect. It was perfect.
Right. And for those who don't know, like you had a pretty famous viral moment where you would kind of talk trash on your job at Trader Joe's. On your Instagram stories.
Big time. Yeah, I'd shake old people's sodas up and sell it to them. I'd fart on my manager. I'd hide in the milk box and scare people. Standard comedian stuff when you work at a grocery store.
Yeah. And then how did you get caught?
It went viral enough to where corporate saw it.
Oh, okay.
And then my manager, they're like, get this kid out of here. And my manager that I farted on, like, he was my boy. Like, you know what I mean? He went to my show Saturday and fired me Tuesday. Like, it wasn't.
Oh, yeah.
It was corporate. And, they're like, get him out. And it was emotional, man. Because this is my friend firing a friend,
Yeah. Well, at least his hands were tied. He wasn't like.
Oh, yeah. I got it. I didn't. No grudges whatsoever. I wasn't going to rat him out. Because it was funny. I've said it before, but not on here. But he was reading the script. The corporate paper. And it was like, Craig, it's been brought to my attention that you've been posting on social media. And I'm like, fool, you're in the story. Like, what are you talking about? You're in the videos. I tagged you.
Right.
No. And I was like, yeah, I know. And then, it was the best. It was the best exit. It was perfect.
Yeah. Was it the one on Crescent Heights?
No. That's the rock and roll one. I was in the Boys Town one. I was on 8611 Santa Monica Boulevard.
Okay.
Right in the heart of WeHo.
Yeah. That one has rough parking.
They all do.
Oh, that's true.
That's like standard. It's like, where can we have shitty parking? All right, put a Trader Joe's there.
Bad parking, great prices. So you win.
Yeah.
And then that thing went viral. And would you say that it helped your comedy career?
For sure, man. It's just... I don't know if you want to get hippy dippy or spiritual or just it's just was meant to be, dude. Like it was like the Laugh Factory posted my stand up. Mm-hmm. I got some followers from there, and then they're like, "Oh my God, this kid's crazy at Trader Joe's."
Yeah.
And then I got fired from Trader Joe's, And then I got JFL. It was like bam, bam, bam. It was like, it was just,
Yeah.
I forgot where I learned this cheesy acronym, but it's true. It was just like, it was luck, but it was laboring under correct knowledge. Like that was the
Oh, I love
acronym
it.
that came up, you know?
Yeah.
And it must have been some real estate shit, as I used to do
Yeah.
real estate. And then, but it's true. It stuck with me because I was hustling. I never took the job as a manager. So I was like, fuck that.
Yeah.
And then I was miserable. I'd work 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., take a nap. Trader Joe's 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., take a nap, go hit the clubs every fucking night. And I was miserable because I was just a zombie, but I just did it. I did it 5-6 nights a week. And then it fucking, you put in all that work for, 7 years.
Yeah.
And then it finally paid off. And I'm not, by any means, I'm not a big fucking, rock star, superstar, whatever. But I established myself enough to where I can actually make a living off of stand-up.
That's amazing.
And I never got, most comedians will tell you this, we never got into it for this. We get into it to be funny, and that's all we give a fuck about. And that's the truth. But eventually, after enough time passes, you're like, wait, I have to make this into a business.
Right.
Because this is all I want to do. And I also, in this society, you have fucking bills. And you're just like, I have to sell tickets, stickers, T-shirts, whatever it may be, to pay rent, because I don't want to go work at fucking 7-Eleven or Starbucks or Trader Joe's or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. It is a job. Like, you become your own entrepreneur. Yeah. I saw you have a great merch store, and you got masks and stuff, and that all like adds to your income, which helps you be a comedian.
Yeah. And of course, in a perfect world, I would rather just focus on stand-up and TV and specials. But I don't have, first of all, there's a pandemic, and also I haven't gotten on TV or specials, so I have to do what I have to fucking do to survive.
And one day you will, and then your manager, your people will take care of that part. You're like, I want to focus on this. You handle that. If I can sell merch, you do it, and then you start.
I would love that. Building
a little team.
Bro, I don't have a printer. I'm literally handwriting every single manila envelope. And I'm just like, it's a great, beautiful problem, you know? Yeah. But I'm just like, I don't want to do this, but I have to pay my rent. I need to get a printer. I need to get organized. Yeah. Look at me. I'm not an organized kind of guy, you know?
I got this like a brother black and white printer. It's over there for like $100, and it's lasted me like 5 years. It's great.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I'll send you the link if you want it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna get organized and do all that, because I'm literally writing my return address. I was like, why don't I have those little stickers? You know, you just slap the sticker.
Yeah. And you only remember when you're writing the next address. You're like, oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
And
but it's you got to do it, you know.
Yeah, it's part of the grind. It's part of the hustle. And if you don't, it's that or 7-Eleven or Starbucks.
Yeah.
So
I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah, and you did that enough to get established, so that chapter's behind, and you're going forward.
Bro, I was at Trader Joe's 11 years.
Oh, you were?
Wow. I've worked since I was 15, so I'm over the day job.
Totally.
I put in 20 years of it. I'm done.
And your podcast is doing quite well.
It is, man.
Yeah.
It's going, you know. I obviously want to get to the Theo level and Joe Rogan's and shit.
Yeah.
But I'm doing okay, you know.
And then, are you a one-man show there? Are you doing the editing, posting, clipping?
Oh God, no! Are you kidding me?
Okay.
I hire a nerd, baby. My good buddy Chris Lunn, he handles all that, and I just give him a percentage, of what we make.
Yeah.
And I keep telling him, just wait till we blow up. You're gonna get rich. And he's still waiting.
Well, it's good. You want to be in at the ground floor. Like, you want to be like Jamie with Rogan. Like,
yeah, it's cool. Cause I do pay him. I do.
Yeah.
It's not much. I pay him what I can when I can. And he gets his set percentage. And if it's a good month, I pay him a little extra for sure.
Right.
And, when sponsors give us stuff, I always share. Like, they give us weed and tequila, and which is so weird. I'm 7 years sober, but I know my demographic.
Yeah.
Anyway, so do they. And then I give it to him, and so he gets paid in other ways, like whether it's clothing or CBD or weed cartridges.
Yeah, you're breaking them off.
Yeah, I give them whatever I have,
I need a nerd because I edit, post, clip, and then it's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, you do, man. It's good. I think my cat just farted. It smells like shit.
Oh, really?
And it wasn't me.
It didn't go in the mic, so we're good over here. Would you say like dude, being sober was like a big part of like you becoming successful at comedy?
Absolutely, 100%. That was the moment, because I probably started doing stand-up like 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I did improv first at the Second City because I was scared of stand-up. I would like dip my toe in the water. I'd do it like twice a year,
Yeah.
So I don't really count that, but I knew I wanted to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But then the moment I got sober is when I jumped in the water 150%. This is it. Because I literally had to just to stay sober.
Mm-hmm.
But because I met this guy, Grant Lyon.
Oh, I know Grant. He's great.
Great guy. Great.
Yeah.
I met him at UCB. And I did UCB after the Second City program. I went through the 2-year program at Second City.
Mm-hmm.
And then Grant was a touring comic. And I was just like, I want to do what you do so bad. And he told me his story. He's like, I've driven 5 hours to do an open mic.
Yeah.
And he's like, you got to stop. He didn't say this, but this is my interpretation of what he said. He's like, you got to stop being a little bitch and go do that shit.
Right.
He said it in nicer words.
Yeah.
And then I was like, that's it, because I was in improv and I loved it, but I was just doing it because I was scared of stand-up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm just so glad that I listened to him.
Right.
I listened, and I did, and then I got sober, and then that was it. That was all I had. It was just stand-up or bust, man. That's it.
It's funny, like you always meet someone in your career who gives you like this piece of advice that pushes you to like the next level. Like I was in Vancouver, Canada, and this guy's like, listen, you just got to go to LA, like sleep on a couch, like do whatever you got to do. Like the net will form. Like I was in music. So there's no music scene in Vancouver. Like you have to leave. You got to go to LA. And I was like, you're right. And like, that was the best advice I ever got.
It's weird. It could be a stranger. I mean, he was my friend, but it literally could be a stranger. Be like, you need to go do this. And you're like, you're right. You know?
And it's weird because like the guy told me he didn't do that.
Yeah.
So maybe he was like saying like I should have in a way,
Yeah.
Giving like the advice that he didn't take and he knows he should have,
Yeah. And good thing you listen. It's people just need to listen,
When I Googled you, one of the first things that came up, it said Craig Conant, musician.
Yeah, I don't know how to fix that because I've never played a musical instrument in my life.
Maybe they see the hair and he's like, he's playing guitar, guys. Come on. I
don't. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, what the fuck? I'm a comedian. I've never played in any band ever.
Maybe, do you have an album out?
No.
Oh, strange. and who do you talk to? Like Google?
Hey, Google, change that. Who's it?
I didn't even see like another Craig Conant to like, oh, no, it's just you.
No, just me.
That's crazy. When you started your merch store, like what were some of the lessons you learned on like what to do, not to do?
Oh my God, I learned so many. First of all, when you're an up and coming comedian and you're not a famous fuck yet, just do one piece of merch, maybe two.
Yeah.
Don't do 3 t-shirts, a hat, a this, a that. Your sales ain't going to be all that. Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to make enough to like pay your rent if you got cheap rent.
Right.
But like, dude, because I made a fart t-shirt, fart stickers, fart hat. And then it hit me when the fart sales came in.
Yeah.
Hey, people don't want to wear that, And I thought, I was like, oh, this is so funny. Just do one with your face, your brand. People are a fan. They love you. And then do one that's not of your face. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I have my, it's just me. Like I did too much, I did too much, man. It's from a joke. It's also I did too much drugs. It's real life. And then I have Loosey Goosey, which is from a viral bit. But Loosey Goosey looks like Hang Ten or Stussy. Like you could wear it and you don't know it's mine. It's I like surfer skater shit. And then, just like that, little stuff like that. And then order small, not small, like just get like 100. That's all I do. I do like 100. When I'm doing the road, I'm not worried about back stock. But now that there's a pandemic and I don't have live human form sales after a show, like your sales are 100% internet, which I'm doing good. But it's like, I told my people, like, I'm just doing one batch of Loosey Goosey.
Yeah.
It's from a viral bit where I drove on mushrooms in front of cops. It got like 6 million hits on Facebook. Also, another lesson there, like, if you have a viral bit, make merch immediately. Immediately. I waited too long. I'm still reaping the benefits, but I felt like if I would have acted sooner, I could have made a lot more money.
Right, because you can make them pretty quick, right? Like, turn around, like, you just, if you have the right online partner.
Whatever the fans are DMing you, like if they're DMing you loosey goosey, bro, capitalize on that merch instantly. And to any haters out there that's saying like it's not about that, it's like, fuck off, dude. I live in a studio apartment with no kitchen. I'm literally trying to stack money. Because the stand-up is like the stock market, dude. Like some months I might make 6 G's and the next month I might make $600. So you need to save your fucking money and be smart with it. Yeah, dude. And I don't buy sodas at restaurants. Water. I'll have the free water.
That's better for your health anyway.
It is. It's healthier and cheaper.
You
know, I don't drink anymore. And if you're drinking at bars for $7 a beer, you know, sneak a little flask in. Do it right. Come on, man.
Yeah. Ride that wave. Speaking of cyclical, are you joining the... Is that your cat?
No, that's my girl choking. It came up on the microphone?
Oh, yeah. It's like someone's dying.
She chugged her chai tea latte and spit it on her laptop.
Oh, wow. All right.
I hope you're okay.
Did it go in the keys? Like, is the laptop okay?
I don't know. We'll find out.
But we were talking about cyclical. Like, we're in the midst of a huge cycle of people leaving LA. Like, what are your thoughts there? Are you staying? You going?
We're moving. Me and my girl moving to beach, man. We're just like, fuck this. Yeah.
Nice.
I wasn't supposed to say what city we're moving in.
No one will find you. I can bleep it. Yeah.
Yeah. Just say we're moving to the beach.
Yeah, to the beach. And so you're staying in California. You're essentially, for comedy purposes, still in LA, though.
Well, I'm born and raised here.
Yeah.
But if I wasn't, like if I had family in fucking Tennessee or Mexico, or I do have family in Mexico.
Yeah.
But if my mom and dad were elsewhere, I would go be with them. It's like, there is no industry at this point in time. We all moved here for the industry. Now it's hot and there's high rent and there's no industry. Like, why are we here? You know?
Yeah, but rents are coming down a bit, which is
They are, dude. I saw a spot in West Hollywood that was super cheap. And it was super cheap for West Hollywood.
Right.
It was like $1,800 for a 1-bedroom, which sounds crazy, but it was like a huge 1-bedroom with a loft and you know what I mean? Like it was basically it was with pool, jacuzzi, gym, sauna, you know. Like normally you pay $1,800 for a 1-bedroom and it's a shitty 70s building, no parking. You know what I mean? Like this was brand new turnkey granite countertops. I was like, damn, that was normally like $2,800 in this fucking town.
Right.
And it was first 2 or 3 months free because they can't get people because everyone's leaving.
Yeah, there's no benefit to being in the high density places right now.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It's like, why are, you know, I was like, let's move to Arizona. But then I was like, nah, it's hot.
Yeah.
Because you could buy a house for $200,000, a brand new home with
crazy.
land.
It's crazy. Yeah.
It's like, what are we really doing here? We're just struggling. There's no state tax. It's just, everything's easier. Except it's 150,000 degrees all the time.
Yeah, but you just go from your air-conditioned car to your air-conditioned box to your air-conditioned Walmart, and that's your life.
Yeah,
Three places.
I'd rather move to the beach.
Yeah, the beach is good. That's a good move. I moved to West Hollywood in 2008, like right before the financial crisis. And I went to the landlord, and I was like, hey, you got to lower the rent because now I can get a place across the street for like $300 less. And he did it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
They are doing that. That happened to my buddy, pandemic.
Yeah.
He was paying crazy rent and he's like, I can't pay that. I was like, here's what I can pay. And it went down like $800 because they're like, fuck, I'd rather get some money than evict this bastard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And deal with getting a new person in during the goddamn global pandemic.
Right. It's a lot of like people are scared to like negotiate in a way a lot of times. It's like you feel like self-conscious and it's a lot. There was this one guy, I think it might have been Seth Godin, but like some self-help guy, and he was like did this experiment. He pulled people aside and said, "Hey, go into the coffee shop and negotiate down the price of the coffee." And that was your exercise. And it's so
Nice.
ridiculous because coffee's like $2, but it was like training you to like just not go along with what is said, you know, and to try
Yeah.
to like carve your own path.
It's good, man. It works. Just ask. You'll be
Yeah, just
surprised.
ask.
But
Yeah,
also, don't be the pesky Pete. You know,
yeah,
like there's a balance.
yeah. There's a saying like never go for like the last dollar. Like don't grind down until like you're
Yeah,
at a place where like the other person doesn't like you. You can have win-win negotiations. You know,
you can't.
there is a place where it's fair to both.
My buddy Travis, I grew up with, his landlord tried to raise the rent on him
Yeah.
like a good chunk, and he's like, "No, I'll move out."
Mm-hmm.
And the landlord was like, "What?" You know, he's like, "Yeah, I'll move out. I'm not paying that." And then he's like, "Well, what will you pay?" He's like, "I'll pay this much extra," and it wasn't much. It was like $50, maybe 100.
Yeah.
And the landlord was like, "Okay." Because he was just called his bluff. He's like, "Fuck that! I'm not paying $400 more a month. I'll just move out."
Right. And
you know?
they're so used to like that just being the norm, right?
Yeah. And they don't want to deal with you moving out, new renter. You already are established. You're in there. You pay your bills.
Yeah.
Now they got this unknown variable. How long is it going to be vacant?
Right.
Sometimes if they're stubborn and they want that extra money, they end up losing money because they're an idiot. And they're just like,
yeah,
you know.
You lose 1 month of rent. That's going to be more than whatever you're raising it by.
Exactly.
Usually.
And what if it sits on there 2-3 months? Then you're just like, fuck.
Yeah.
You know?
I was looking in New York and I saw a studio apartment on Central Park West overlooking the park for $2,500, which seems like a lot, but overlooking the park, like a nice
insane.
Studio.
I know enough about New York to where that would be normally 5 Gs.
Yeah, it was insane.
Yeah.
But they're having a lot of outdoor shows, and I thought about, you know, going out there for a bit because I do a trip there every year to do shows. But I was like, is it really worth it to do that? Probably not.
You could do the old apartment swap, although no one really wants to come to LA right,
Right.
now.
Yeah, some people do, depending on where you live in New York, you know.
Yeah, comics do that. You know,
Yeah.
I'll, you know, you a month here, I'll be a month there, and we swap. That way, it's just a wash.
Yeah, it's a wash. Yeah, that's smart. But I feel like comedy is going to follow the sun now because wherever there's outdoor shows, like that's where it's going to be.
That's true.
You know?
What the fuck are they going to do in New York when there's blizzards? They're fucked.
I think they're good till like October and then maybe first week of November, and then it's going to get rough.
Can you imagine that? You just literally weathering the storm.
I know we're going to see people like with like an umbrella, storm, snow, and like the shot of them doing comedy.
God damn.
Have you done any outdoor shows?
I've done a bunch, yeah. Some rooftop shows, some parking lot shows, performing in vehicles.
Nice.
How
was the vehicle one?
No, it was awful.
Yeah.
But it was awesome at the same time because you're performing in cars, so obviously it's just fucking not the same.
Right.
But it was in Hollywood, and it's literally the only legal open club makeshift, you know, pop-up club.
Magic club?
It's the comedy dude. But like literally, I was on it with Bill Burr, Jim Jeffries, Eliza Schlesinger, Neil Brennan, Chris Spencer. Like, come on, bro.
Legit.
Like, and everyone's hanging out, and it was amazing due to the current circumstances. But yes, of course, a live show in human form is much better.
Yeah.
But Tammy Jo Darren is the producer of those, and she was very smart that she gave like clackers, like New Year's clackers, those little hands, you know? So, because the people are in their cars and listening through the radio like an old drive-in movie.
Wow.
So you could hear them laughing, but it's muffled.
Yeah.
So she gave them the clappers, so people are like, woo, you know, so you could hear more laughter.
Right.
It's an adjustment, and it's weird, but me and Josh Adam Myers were on the show, and we were cracking up jokes saying like being passed at the Magic Castle is like literally that all that matters right now, you know, because it's the only, it is literally the only legal show in Los Angeles.
That's wild.
Live, which is, you know, I'm very blessed to be a part of it, and it's amazing. But you know, I'd rather be performing at the Comedy Store and the Laugh
Of
Factory
course, yeah.
and the Improv, but that is not an option. So this is the best goddamn thing to happen to me.
Yeah, it's the best one in LA. And
Yeah.
what if they put like a little microphone in each car and like a little like magnet speaker on top that like shot the laughs out?
I, that sounds like a lot more production. She put on she dude, she had to buy a stage, lights, hire a crew, like the health crew, whatever, the temperature people, an outside organization to make it what compliant health. You know, it's like it's a
production.
It's a production.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my god, like this is. I can't believe you did all this. When I saw it, I was like, damn.
Yeah. I've done a couple of park shows, and then I went by a couple of shows that our mutual friends run, and a lot of them are great. But you're like, wow, this is a lot of work. Like, and
it's so much work.
As someone who ran a show, and you ran shows too, like this is just like that plus another level of compliance that's insane.
First of all, I hate running shows just because it's so stressful. I just want to do comedy.
Right.
You're like, damn. And that's at the Comedy Store where there's a DJ, everything's set up, everything's done. You literally plug in your iPod, you say show's starting.
Yeah.
Now you literally have to rent out a venue or go to the park or do it in a parking lot, bring the equipment, bring the spotlights, sell the tickets. It's no longer in the club circuit, you know. Now you have to do everything. And I'm just like, oh boy, like, so shout out to these producers doing all that, because I'm not going to.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of new producers that are killing it right now, and like, I'm just hats off to the work they put in. And I don't know how much they want it like advertised, but you know who you are.
Yeah.
I remember doing your show at the one you run with Steve Fury at the Comedy Store, and I think I went on before you, and then I saw your act, and you go up there and you're doing these great new bits, and then one of them didn't work, and you're like, hey, listen guys, do you want to keep hearing the Trader Joe's joke? Or this is how we get new jokes. This is what we do, guys. And it was so great to like, it was a great way to acknowledge it, but also push, because you could easily just get stuck in that pattern of doing the same stuff over and over.
Yeah, you got to try new shit, man. And a lot of times it falls flat on your face, you know?
Yeah. It was my first park show back. I'm like, I'm not doing any old jokes. And it was like, oh yeah, these need to be tried more than once to work.
Oh, hey man, there's no shame in doing old jokes if you haven't done stand-up for 4 months, okay? I mean, do new shit too, but like, if you're at a show where people pay to be there, they want to laugh.
Right.
So if you're running all new shit, you know, we're not all writers like fucking Neil Brennan, you know,
right.
Or it's like there's no shame in doing old bits either to get the job done, is what I'm saying.
There's a balance, and I'll admittedly say I went too far that way, but I corrected for the next show, and it was back to reality.
Nice.
Yeah, you just get like, sometimes we get into our old head. You're like, oh, like all these people have seen these jokes. Like, what am I saying? And
you can never win either, too, because I've done shows where I haven't done one Trader Joe's jokes, and fans will be like, hey, you didn't do any Trader Joe's jokes.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck. And then you'll do Trader Joe's jokes, and then a different fan will be like, hey, I already saw those. And you're like, oh, fuck. You can't win, dude.
Yeah.
I always like a balance of like, all right, if it's a good bit and you still enjoy telling it, just fucking do it. Who gives a fuck what they think? Because a lot of times somebody may love that bit and they'll bring their sister or their girlfriend or their brother and be like, oh, this is a good bit. He drives on mushrooms. Like, you gotta watch it. Right. So they want to see a repeat.
Like a great song.
Yeah, but if it's 100%, I always try to do like 50-50, you know, like 50 classics, 50% new shit, new stories. Because you do. It's.
Yeah, you got to give them a balance.
Yeah.
It was, I felt like I fell right into a trap that they talk about in that movie Comedian. Like Colin Quinn was like, yeah, you go up there and you have all this new stuff you're excited about, and you think it's just going to unlock like another 10 minutes of new stuff by just doing it. And you're like, yeah, it's the oldest trick in the book. Like, it always gets you.
Yeah. I got to rewatch that. I saw that like right before and as I was getting into stand-up.
Yeah.
And I watched it so much, but I haven't seen it since. I haven't watched it in like 8 years.
If you want, I'll lend you the DVD, because on the DVD, there's it's Jerry and Colin talking over the whole thing. And it's like a whole new layer to it, which
I heard about that.
It's great. Yeah. If you have a DVD player, I'll lend it to you. It's
do.
Awesome. Yeah,
Thanks, man.
I'll make a trip over to WeHo. So do you feel that like a lot of people from the outside might think you have like this really like rapid rise? Do you feel it was like a rapid rise for you, or was like a long grind and then kind of like one day it clicked?
It took forever. So first of all, I came up rather quickly in the business.
Yeah.
Considering, you know, but I'm like 8 years into stand up, 10 years in the game of improv stand up or whatever you want to call it, if you want to be technical.
Right.
But the first couple of years, like I said, I was dipping the toe in the water. I was like, I didn't know what I was. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Anyways, it feels like a lifetime. You're just like, I'm doing well on stage with famous fucks. Like, why can't I get anything? And you got to be very careful not to be stuck in that mentality of bitter. I call it bitter beer face, just bitter. Like, why don't I have this? Why don't I have that? Because I wasn't in that mindset very long, but there was a little time, maybe 6 months to a year, because I had been performing at all the clubs. I'd been holding my own on stage with juggernauts, and nothing was happening. So I was just like, I didn't have followers. I didn't have anything in the industry, nothing. I was still working Trader Joe's, going to Trader Joe's, sharing the stage with Bill Burr, Dave Chappelle at the Comedy Store, and then going back to Trader Joe's. No joke. Like, literally. Yeah. And then I was just like, what the fuck, man? You know?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't really hate on others. I was like, what's wrong with me? I would hate on myself. And then I swear to God, is where the hippie shit comes in. Like, as soon as I surrendered and was like, man, fuck that. Who cares? You're getting up. You're having fun. You're doing what you love. That's why you did this to begin with. And then all of a sudden, Laugh Factory shares your shit. And then this happens. And then that happens. And it's weird, dude. And I've talked to several other comics where they say the same thing. The moment you just let go and surrender and be like, who fucking cares?
Yeah.
I don't care anymore. You surrender is what they say. You just let loose. You're just like, it doesn't matter. I love doing this. And that's why I'm doing this. And then that's when you get shit, man.
Yeah.
And you can't, and it's weird. It's true though. It's so true.
Is an element of that like not caring also, while you're not caring, just saying, I'm not going to care about these things, but I'm going to work hard. I'm just going to work on the act.
Of course.
I'm going to work on the jokes and let that kind of, it's kind of like putting your head down and focusing on the work. Sometimes the other stuff just happens instead of worrying about it.
Yeah.
Because like, how can you control who shares your stuff? Like, how can you control who asks you to go on the road with them? Like, it just happens.
It just happens. You can't. You just be nice, kind, and funny. That's all you can do. And as they say,
that's a t-shirt.
Oh yeah, there you go. Be nice, kind, and funny. Just have the blinders on. You know, they use the horse analogy. They have the blinders because they start looking around, they slow down. You have the blinders on, you just run your race.
Yeah, you never watched The Other Horse. Yeah, I remember reading that in David Geffen's biography. Speaking of music, you know, you're in music. You know who David Geffen is, right? So.
I do know who that is, but no, it's so true too, and it's been said too by so many people. I remember Chris Rock said it on somewhere. I've heard it from several of the headliners. They're just focused on you and what you can control. The moment you compare yourself to others, you're just going to be bitter.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
This is a weird year to talk about it, but we always like address like what are your like comedy and life goals for the next year, and what are they for you in this weird environment?
Get more organized with my merch.
Yeah, merch. Yeah.
Just tour. I just want to headline and tour the world, tour the nation. And I was starting to, and then the pandemic happened, and here we are selling loosey-goosey stickers and T-shirts. But yeah, just tour. I just love stand-up so much. It's all I give a fuck about. Maybe, you know, get into the acting world and be the weird neighbor on a sitcom. I'd love to do that.
I can see that. You have a great look and you're funny and present.
But just mainly just stand-up. That's all I give a fuck about. Podcasting.
Yeah.
I would love to level up on the podcast and get in the top 200, you know?
Right.
Consistently. I've been in there like 2-3 times.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
But I want it every fucking time.
Yeah. Like same with this pod. Like we pop in, then we pop out, then we pop in and we're like, hey, we're out. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to be a pop-in. I want to be a kadoosh.
Yeah. But it happens over time. Like you're creating this like net, and it's like the more episodes you put out, the more people find it, the more people can like discover it in a way. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's not like before, like you release one album and everyone finds the album on the shelf. It's like you got to create your net so big that people just stumble into you on the algorithm somehow.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. And then it's just funny. I think it's a Seinfeld quote too. They're like, "Oh, where'd you come from?" And like, "I've been here for 20 years." Like, what are you talking about? It takes 10 years to become an overnight success, I believe he said is what.
Yeah.
But it's true. Like, they're like, "Where have you been?" Like, doing this every night of my life.
Yeah.
For 10 years, you know?
Yeah, same thing. I used to work for Wiz Khalifa, and same thing. They're like, "Well, this kid came out of nowhere." You're like, "Yeah, it took 10 years out of nowhere."
Yeah. 10 years of him fucking spitting dope rhymes over and over and over. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, that's what it takes. And then, like, what's stand-up is even more fucked up because you can have a hit and tour the rest of your life. You can have a hit joke, same as a hit song, and they're like, "What's next? Give me more." You know what I mean? The Stones could tour off one hit even though they have 50 million hits. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, because you just put it at the end of the show and you wait for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a stand-up. Write more brilliant shit. Always keep it coming. You know, it's like, this is hard, guys.
I remember I saw Prince live and he was like in this, like, I'm only focused on the new stuff mode. And he's playing the songs and he's like almost near the end of the show. And he's like, "If you came to get Purple Rained Out, you came to the wrong show." And he just keeps playing the new stuff. But he did come back out in an encore to like Raspberry Beret and people like lost their minds.
Nice.
Yeah. So you gave him a little bit.
Too.
Yeah.
I saw him at the Forum.
Oh, nice.
In England. It was so dope.
That was a lesson to like always see the greats when they're around, because I was like, I'll get them later. I'd already seen them twice and I was like, what's the point of going again? And then these greats pass and you're like, what an opportunity to go.
I really regret not seeing AC/DC at Dodger Stadium.
Oh, that would have been great.
I fucked up.
Back in Black, when that album, put it in any car and it just rocks. It's so big.
It's so good.
So good.
It's so good.
Yeah, everything except Shook Me All Night Long is amazing on that record.
Yeah.
Shook Me All Night Long, it just reminds me of like,
well, the thing is, it started out good and then you heard it 50 million times at every bar ever.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, I now hate this song. That's how but like it started out great.
Of course, yeah.
You know how shit gets ruined.
Yeah, it gets overexposed.
Adele's great, but I can't listen to the hits anymore.
No.
Because the radio murdered them.
Yeah, and now we don't know what radio is, so...
Yeah, you're right.
Just Spotify. Well, Craig, I really appreciate you doing the pod. This has been super fun.
Thank you.
Where do people find you? Tell us the name of your podcast. Tell us your Instagrams, your tweets.
You can find me at Craig P. Conant on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. Just CraigConant.com for my website. My podcast is Community Service Podcast with Craig Conant. We talk about farts, sobriety, and drugs.
Nice.
And yeah.
Farts, sobriety, and drugs. I like that combo.
The good stuff, the important stuff.
The important stuff. Well, yeah, I really appreciate it, you doing the pod. Good luck on your move to the new beach. And
thank you.
We'll sang soon.
Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you.
And I'm sorry if I was a little slurry today. I just got Invisalign, and I probably should have taken it out before I...
No, I couldn't tell at all.
You couldn't tell?
If anything, I've probably fucked up more words than you for sure. But
oh, yeah.
And I have no Invisalign.
Yeah, it's good. I was supposed to get it like 8 years ago. And if only I started in March, it'd be over by now. But
yeah, I know, right?
Yeah,
That's a good... Oh, shit, I should get them. I had braces my whole life, so I'm straight right here. But down here, I didn't wear a retainer, and I fucked it up.
That's what happened to me. And they look fine, but the bottom moves so far forward that they touch like this. And it just hurts when I eat. I'm like, I got to fix this. This is ridiculous. So
yeah.
Wear your retainers.
Wear your retainers, everybody. I lost mine a decade ago.
Coming soon to the merch store.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Craig.
Thank you, brother. Peace.
Take care.